Hi, friends. So today we're out in nature. It is so beautiful out, fresh breath air. It's just feels amazing just to be out. It's so beautiful out today, underneath the shade, of course. So today I want to talk about Bible journaling and how, like, some of the ways that I do it. There's different ways to do it. For some reason, when I go to church, guys, or anywhere in public that requires me to carry my Bible, my this Bible gets a lot of attention. I don't know why. I'm just like, what? It's such a like I didn't even think anyone would pay attention. Everyone always pays attention. They're like, wow, that looks well read. And I don't know. I don't it's like for me, it's my notes. It's my notes. So I know what's what and what's in what chapter. Let me put this down so I can kind of show you what it looks like. So I basically journal and I take notes. So for example, um, like I'll highlight the pages and then I'll put little notes and a little summary about them. So, for example, so I just kind of put a Post-it note, highlight it, and put your little notes on there. And you just sometimes you can make side comments on the Post-it note. The comment on the Post-it note helps me. I don't write in the Bible itself. Some people do that, which is fine. It's yours. You can do what you want. And then after that, I'll go back. My notes is not in the actual Bible. It's in the sticky note, the Post-it note. So I put my notes on here. I highlight the chapters, and then I'll write the full verse that's in here. I'll write it in my notebook. So this is like my fifth notebook, and I have notepads. I have so many. So this is my most recent one. So I'll put my notepad, my notes in here, and then I'll go in the next one and next verse and things like that. So yeah, so this kind of So yeah, it gets a lot of attention, but you see how on the Post-it note it has little notes of like a summary of what it means and which Bible verse I'm looking at. I highlighted different colors just so I can stay organized. So you can do different colors, highlight it, do Post-it notes to save the page and the page number, and then you put the meaning down here on there, like with like a summary about it, and then you transform the scripture, like the actual Bible verse, you transfer that information to your notes, and then you go over it in your notes, or you can take this note with you on the road to travel. So this is what you would take with you on to go. This is usually for church or if I'm doing Bible study. But yeah, when I go to at church or anywhere else, this Bible always gets a lot of attention, and I didn't even think anyone would pay attention to it. It's not a big deal for me because I've had it for 7 years, and it just helps. It teaches me. It's just a good way for me to study it, but it brings a lot of attention because and one thing to remember is just because someone's Bible looks like this, it doesn't mean that they're reading it. It could be sometimes they're pretending. So because at the end of the day, what matters is our heart. Are we putting it into practice, and what's in our heart? And we, taking his words and actually putting it to practice in our day-to-day life, because it shows us how to live our lives using the scripture, right? So we want to make sure that we're using this. And then in the back, I have some notes that I have. So in the back right here. So these are some of the notes from my notebook. So I'll rip it. So I have like little notes that I have. So I always take notes. I always take notes of what I learned. Like little notes. Sometimes if I don't have my notes, I'll use paper. I have like a notepad too. So I have so many different ones. I have notepads, notebooks. I put it in here. Most of the times I'll use a little notebook like this to take notes. So I'll highlight it, put a Post-it note, put a summary of what it's about in the Post-it note right down here, and then transfer that information of the Bible verse, put it in here, and then read this over and over and until it sinks in. Whatever topic that I wanted to study, whether it's trusting God's timing, leaning not to my own understanding, whether it's taming the tongue, whether it's about forgiveness, whether it's judging other people, how to live more Christ-like, whatever it might be, I practice it and I read over it using this over and over again. So this is the King James Version. This is the one that I've had for 7 years. I've had this for a long time. And this is the Bible that someone gave me a long time when I was going through a difficult time, and did not know what. I was like, well, how do I start? I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know where to start. I don't even know how to read it. The King James. I started with the King James because that was the book that was given to me, and it was the best gift ever because it changed my life. And I just read a lot about hope, a lot about trusting God and His plans for me, and it was good that I was afflicted, and just understanding that about forgiveness, about judgment. So it just any topic that I wanted to learn, I learned from here. So if I wanted to learn about judgment, I would Google Bible verses on judgment, and then I'll follow them on here. And then when I find them, I highlight them. That's where I got this from. So I would highlight them. I would highlight them what it says on forgiveness, and then I'll make little notes on why we should forgive and a little summary about what it says. So if I wanted to learn more about trusting God, I'll Google words, topics. I'll Google Bible verse on trusting God and how to do that. So when I Google those Bible verses, it gives me a list of Bible verses. I find them, and then I'll highlight it in here. I'll highlight it in here, highlight it, take my notes on it, and then add it to here. So that's what I kept doing. And whatever subject, whatever you're struggling with is what you study, right? And it gave me so much comfort. That's why I started doing Bible study, because it gave me so much comfort. It helped me heal and helped me overcome so many obstacles in my life. And I have a good life now, to be honest. I'm pretty grateful. So this is what helped me. So this is the King James Version. So if you were to buy a book brand new, like if you're going to purchase a Bible, you can buy whichever one that you want, but the King James Version, it's a little bit harder to read for beginners because it has a lot of they, thou, shall. Like, it's harder to read. Then you have to research that word. What does that word mean? So I started with this because this was the one that was given to me during a hard time. So I had no choice but to read it, right? And I loved it. I have another one too, the NLT. The NLT, this is more the New Living Translation. This is more modern. So these are the same, but this one's more modern. This is more easier to read. And I do the same thing on this one. See, I do the same thing on this one. It has a little posting. See, it's starting to look like this a little bit. And what I do is I find a verse, and same thing. I would find it. I would highlight it and write down the notes. Yeah, see? Whatever verse I'm studying, I would highlight it and do a little post-it note or a sticker so I can find that page. If I have a post-it note or a sticker on there, then that tells me that was something that was important to me, that resonated with me, and to go back and read it. That's what it helps me, right? So these are it right here. So this is the newest one. I love this book a lot. I recommend this book, especially for beginners. Get this from Amazon. This is a lot of the books that I read from. When I first started my channel, I used to read from this, but then I started reading from this because it's just more modern and easier to explain for it depends on your audience. It's just easier to understand. So yeah, so that's how you pretty much do Bible journaling. And a lot of times too, it's not important what the Bible looks like just because it looks beat up or anything, or looks like it's been well read. That doesn't mean it's actually been well read. What matters is their heart, and if they're living in the through the Spirit, that's what matters the most, because God looks at your heart. What kind of person are you? What's in your heart? Or do you have good intentions? It's not about this. It's not about this. This is just something I've had for 7 years, and all these tabs are very important to me. We're all meaningful things. It talks about trusting. It talks about forgiveness. It talks about taming the tongue. It talks about so many things that help. It talks about hope. It talks about anxiety. So these are all the important tabs that I have for me. So let's try not to focus a lot on this, but mainly the heart and making sure it's transforming us, our mind, and our hearts. Okay. All right. Bye, friends.